The last couple of years have been really hard for real estate agents in this business. 2023 and 2024 were both hard years. Now, a lot of agents had really good years. We've grown our company 20 and 30% year over year over year for the last 3 years, which I'm super proud of. And I'm going to break down in this video what I feel is one of the biggest levers on us growing our business as a team. And it's something you can implement if you're running a team, but also if you're just an independent or solo agent, not just, but if you're running just a business as you, this is definitely something that I would say is probably the biggest lever you can implement in your business. And I'm going to break it down to 4 simple steps, and I'll go into a little bit more detail. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Christian Stubbs. I'm a team leader and owner of Onyx Homes, or a real estate sales team based in Orange County, California. And we just hit over our 600 deal mark over the last couple of years for $500 million in volume, which is really, really cool to see. And honestly, this that I'm going to share with you in this video is one of the biggest things that has got us to this point, or I should say, it's probably one of the biggest reasons why we're able to focus on the things that matter most often. So as I'm filming this, we're rolling into the 4th quarter of the year, and there's a lot of things that happen here. Most real estate agents are going to take the entire Q4 off, which is crazy to me, but it happens. It's also holiday season, so a lot of consumers sit on the sidelines waiting to see what happens. And a big change is we have an election this year, so there's a lot of noise, and you add on top of all of that is we've got a lot of changes with interest rates happening. So here's what I suggest in every single year this time of year. I'm going to start talking about business planning because I don't want you to do what most agents do, which is wait until New Year's Eve to come up with your New Year's resolutions and look at your business plan once a year. It's something we need to look at more often. So I'm going to break this down and how you can come up with your annual goals, or not so much come up with your annual goals, because I think you know what your goals are. I'm going to talk more about how you can actually execute on your goals and hit them. So here's the framework that I follow, or we follow as a company, that gets us from the big goal that we're setting at the beginning of the year, because we all know writing that thing on the whiteboard or writing it on your vision board, whatever it is, that's one step. But actually getting there is the important part. So number 1 is you start with a goal you want to hit for the year. That's your first of 4, right? So number 1, you have to obviously start with a goal. Now, second is you're going to break that goal down into quarterly projects. Now, depending on what your goal is, maybe it's implementing a new marketing channel, maybe it's just hitting a certain number of deals or income, you can break this down into quarters. So every single quarter, you're going to break this down into 3-month chunks. And the idea here is you're going to take every quarter is going to build you closer to that goal. Now, from the quarterly goals that you set, you're going to break this down into weekly metrics that you can track. Now, the goal here is for you to know every single week what you need to do in order to hit your goal. Now, last but not least, you have to put this in your calendar. So if you start with your big annual goal, you break it down to what do I need to do this quarter, next 90 days, 3 months. Then you ask yourself, from that project or this quarter, or rock as we call it, what do I need to do every single week to make sure that I'm hitting that? Now the question from there is, once you have your numbers that you have to follow or you have to hit every single week, now you ask yourself, how many hours do I need to put on my calendar to make sure I hit these things? This is, at the end of the day, how we set up and run our entire business. So let me summarize. You have your big goal that you're going to start with, and you chunk that down into projects that are quarterly. From there, you're going to figure out what do you need to do every single week in order to accomplish those projects. And then you ask yourself, in order for me to hit these numbers every week, how much time do I need in my calendar? That is taking a big goal for the year and breaking it down to, really, at the end of the day, what do I need to do today? Now, here's a pro tip for you if you feel like you're struggling thinking through this. Is if your goal is not specific enough, it's going to be very hard for you to say, what do I need to do this week? Now, let me break down as an example, is if you say, I want to get better at sales, it's going to be really hard to say, well, what do I need to do this quarter? Even then, it's like I can learn, I can increase my conversion ratios and stuff like that. But it's just such an arbitrary thing as like, did you get better? Yes or no? I mean, your conversion rates will tell. But if you're not tracking a ton of numbers, it's going to be hard. So my point is, you want to have a very, very specific goal for what you're trying to accomplish, and that makes setting this way easier. I would rather you be way more specific on goal setting rather than being vague and arbitrary. So when we come up with a goal with our team here at Onyx Homes, we set the goal for the entire year, and even if there's several goals, that's fine, but we have our goals for the year. we break those down to, okay, what do we need to do this quarter in order to get closer to hitting that goal? That is a rock or a project. That's something that we set every single quarter, which I have on my calendar for 2 weeks from now for quarter 4 of 2024. Next, we break that project down into all of the different things that we're going to need to do. So for example, if our goal is we are going to add a ad agency to run paid ads to generate more leads. The goal for the year is to have 10% of our business, of all of our deals, come from this ad agency. I'm giving you a very specific example. 10% of all deals. So if we do 200 deals, that means 20 need to come from this ad agency. Now, how do we break that down into a rock? Well, the first rock might be find the ad agency. And then what do we need to do every week? Well, we probably need to interview a bunch of ad agencies. And then what do we need to do to put on our calendar? Well, we need to find ad agencies to do a demo with or to interview. And then we need to do the demos and interviews. So who's responsible for setting those up? Who's responsible for doing the demos? And then at the end of the quarter, the goal is that we have picked the company we want to go with. Now that might be your first quarter. Your next quarter might be identifying what campaigns you're going to run with that marketing agency. And then what has to happen? There's going to be scripting time, there's going to be filming time, there's going to be editing time, there's going to be all of these different things. And then those, how long in front of the camera, how long in front of writing this messaging, the copywriting, right? All of these things, that all goes into the calendar. So when we set up, we started with an ad agency about 6 months ago, and this is something that I added a bunch of time into my calendar because that was what needed to happen in order to get ads up and running. This is one, I'm trying to give you a specific example. But if I'm talking as a salesperson, if you want 50% of your business to come from your cold calling efforts, you might, first of all, need to know how much 50% of your business is. But in the next quarter, you're maybe, if you're starting, you might be testing different scripts. So you might put in your calendar 2 hours with this script, 2 hours with this script. And after a few weeks, or certainly after a few months, you're going to have a lot of information to figure out which script works best. And at the end of the day, this is how we operate our business. I meet with my leadership team for 90 minutes every single Friday, and we simply review all of the key metrics for our entire business. I could show you a screenshot of it, but it would say how many calls did our team make, how many appointments did our team make, how many leads do we have in our sales pipeline, our bottom of funnel, how many offers did we write, how many listing agreements, we track all of the most important metrics for our entire team, and I recommend that you do as well too. Now, I'm going to be tracking different metrics because I'm managing 60 plus agents going through. And if you are solo on your own, you're going to be tracking very different things. But I did another video where I talk about the 5 most important numbers. Highly recommend checking that video out next. All right, so I hope you found this valuable for your goal setting here at the end of the year. If you want to check out the 5 most important numbers, I've got another video for you to watch right there. Again, my name is Christian. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.